Hi Cancer, this is your astrology horoscope for August 2015 with me, Lada from astrolada.com. And this month is full of astrological events. Venus is going to be in August retrograde. We're going to talk about that. Jupiter will be changing sign from your second house to your third house. And there is the month though starts. And this for everyone who have their ascendant, sun, or moon in Cancer. Make sure you check at least your ascendant and sun signs. And even if the predictions of both are clashing and different, believe me, you would feel both on different levels. You will experience and witness both things happening, because you can be happy and sad, maybe not on the same day, but you'll definitely feel. Anyway, okay, so what's happening? The month is starting the first and then by a square between Jupiter and Saturn. Jupiter is in your second house of finances. Square is a difficult aspect, and Saturn is in your fifth house. So maybe certain expenses, because it can happen, like expansion of expenses due to having fun. You might be going on a holiday, because fifth house is holiday and Saturn is there pulling, kind of giving more pressure on your finances, where Jupiter is your second house. So there might be some expenses in regards to holidays, having fun, in regards to children, in regards to love affairs or loved ones, or in regards to hobbies and things that you consider fun and creative and enjoyable, which is fifth house. So if some expenses come, they usually, some pressure on your finances, at least they're for things that are, that you love, like your children, like your lover, like your romantic relationship, like dating, maybe like having fun, getting drunk, or maybe jet skiing, something that's a hobby of your creative or fun hobby. So this can put some pressure on your finances, so be careful. And children, they might require certain things, but it's okay, because also Jupiter is a planet of expansion, so it can create, it can create at the same time a different thing, like you having to work more in regards to financial matters and focus there, can create certain tension with you in regards to having fun, because second house is responsibilities, fifth house is having fun. Second house is practical material responsibilities and money and resources. Second house is children, having fun, lovers. So there might be a little bit of a clash the beginning of August between those themes. Should I have fun, or should I go, be responsible? Should I save this money for this, or should I, or maybe because you have to be more practical and responsible, you can't have so much fun, and you have to sacrifice something. But it's a short transit. It's gonna finish by the middle of August, so it can play out in different ways, but these are some of the ways I think it can happen. Okay, but let's see. Venus is retrograde in your second house, Cancer. And the last time this happened was 8 years ago, in the summer of 2007. Think back, what kind of lessons happened to you? But back then the lessons were much harder, to be honest, because Saturn was also there in your second house. So especially financial matters might have been quite hard or difficult in some way, or self-worth matters might have been quite an issue. But now it's just Venus there and Jupiter actually. So the lessons are much easier and more rewarding and more kind of easier. Yeah. Anyway, so what's happened when Venus turns retrograde in your second house, Cancer? Well, this is about reevaluating your own self-worth on the psychological level. Second house rules. How much do you treasure yourself? How much do you consider your worth? How much do you consider you're valuable? And this will reflect on how much money you're making. This will reflect on how much self-worth others give you, on how much others value you as well as a person. This will reflect, and when Venus turns retrograde, you start thinking more in depth. You start seeing matters from a different perspective and realizing that, actually I have not been feeling as, I have not been appreciating myself as I have to. And because of that, you might even decide to change prices if you have a company, or to ask for a promotion, or to even like get somehow the desire to prove yourself more worthy. Or if you don't consider that a place is appreciating you, or someone is appreciating you on your self-worth level, to eliminate those people. But you definitely might reevaluate and rebudget in some way, because your personal changing values of self-worth will reflect on your ability to manifest materially and financially. So it's a good time during those 40 days of Venus retrograde, which are happening in August and part of September, to really think deep and hard about such matters. And actually people take actions around that time, or something happens, because the Venus is about changes, lifestyle changes, which are first they're reflected on how you value yourself, and because of that you attract certain developments in your life which increase your financial well-being as well. So often I've seen Venus retrograde in second house. It's a great opportunity for the person to improve their finances, to improve their relationships with material, tangible assets and valuable things. It's a good opportunity actually, and you might not immediately see the results. You might see the results actually after the retrograde period in August. So basically in September and October, this is when you might see the results of this psychological inner transformation that's been happening in August, of you learning to value yourself more and having more self-worth and feeling that you deserve more. And because of that, even if it's happening some kind of subconsciously, you have the chance to attract better financial opportunities in September and October. Even in August it can start, but like, you know, this is a whole process which concludes in October. And this is when you can see basically improved salary or improved gains of some way, or improved self-worth of some way. And second house is the food we eat, we intake. Second house is everything that supports us. One is money, you know. One is the environment, how the environment supports us. You know, the other thing is food. The other thing is clothes and value and possessions that we have. You might actually rethink certain possessions, because Venus is about reevaluation. So often I've seen people, when they have Venus retrograde in their second house, is that they crop up certain things that are no longer necessary in their life, like material possessions, because they realize if they want to release place for something new, they have to let go. They have to release the old on the tangible material level. So they can leave old clothes to charity. They can, like, possessions and valuables, you know, they can sell away, or they can, because Venus, you know, they can buy valuables and new possessions that are very different than what they used to buying before, to treasuring. Your aesthetic tastes also are changing. What you consider valuable, what you consider beautiful is changing while Venus is retrograde. So you might acquire some unique pieces that are very different than what you're used to. You know, maybe some antique pieces, or something that is old as well, because Venus is retrograde. Maybe if you've lost something, you might find it now. Maybe you lost your ring a few months ago or years, and you can find it. Or maybe a long lost valuable object can come back to you, because Venus is moving backwards, something from the past coming, or some self-worth issue from the past coming to the surface, so you can re-examine it, see it from a different direction, side, and realize I'm worth it. You know, this thing happened to me and I've been locked in a sense of subconscious that I'm not worth it because this and this happened, and because of that I've been blocking my financial abundance. But when Venus is retrograde, you can realize what is blocking your financial abundance. You can realize some snag that happened years ago, maybe 8 years ago, you know, or maybe further 16 years ago, that basically was the reason of you treasuring and valuing yourself less, cancers, which blocked your finances. And because of that, you can release something from the past, whether it's symbolically or really in the physical sense, possessions and things like that, or might be even a person who, once you release this or that person, actually, or forgive them, forgive yourself for something that lowered your self-worth. And when this happens, there is healing. And when there is healing, there is an unblocking in regards to second house matters on the material level. Because on the spiritual level, everything starts from the spiritual level, and the second house is your self-worth. Something trampled on your self-worth. Now you re-examine it, you unlock it, you untangle it. And by September, October, even if it happens on the subconscious level, you know, more conscious people will be more aware of this happening. But because of releasing and forgiving something like that, that trampled on your self-worth, that blocked your self-worth, there will be abundance or more better improve our finances. And you might actually re-examine some budgets and some how you're dealing with your finances, and how you're, you know, what is worth for you, what is valuable, where do you want to put your money, where do you want to invest your money and your valuables, and you can realize that basically your values are changing now. Something that you considered either beautiful, valuable, now might realize that it's just a burden and leave it behind and decide to put your time and investment in something else. And by September, October, again, because of the shift that happens, you can improve your relationship with finances, with tangible matters. And actually, the less hang up you're about those things, the more easily it flows. So definitely you have this chance, Cancer. Or some old financial matters or matters of possession and resources can come to be re-examined and to be changed for better, because Venus is a good planet. It always changes things for better and makes things better at the end of the process. So we talked self-worth, food. What do you put in your body is second house. Venus there can make you rethink your eating habits, can make you rethink, because Venus wants to be wholesome. And if you have naturally bad Venus in your horoscope, very likely you're putting shit in your body, because Venus is the nurse, how we self-soothe. And when it's transiting retrograde in your second house, you become aware of what unhealthy ways you're self-soothing yourself through food or beverages. Cheers, sugar, of course. Whether it's alcohol, whether it's binge eating, or maybe you just when you need to self-soothe or reward yourself, you might be just doing it in unhealthy ways. And Venus, while it's retrograde, will make you way more aware of these habits. Cheers. And can make you, because Venus is a life changer planet, lifestyle changing planet, so it can make you detach from certain attachments, because Venus is the planet of attachments, and when it's moving retrograde, you take a step back and you can transform and change your lifestyle, what foods you eat, to make them healthier, to make them better, to make them more soothing for your body in the long run, rather than just like an insulin rush or whatever for a few minutes or hours, or an alcohol high for a few minutes and hours. So there is this great possibility now to transform certain eating habits and self-soothing habits, okay, and to transform also, if you self-soothe by shopping, a second house possessions, you might realize this unhealthy habits and find another more better ways to self-soothe if you're doing it through shopping or spending money. And Venus can help you do it maybe by painting, or maybe you can find a different way of self-soothing or a different way to spend money, which is more not so addictive to the worldly material things, which is not so addictive, because Venus is also the planet of addictions, is the planet of addictions to worldly sensual pleasures, and especially in the second house is addictions to material possessions and things like that. And you can reevaluate certain such addictions or dependencies on financial and material and tangible things around you, and it can help you release you by the end of this process, September, October, by certain such attachments. And the more you release, the more kind of free you become in regards to second house things, the more abundance comes to you again. So by the end of this process, your finances can be way improve, your relationship with tangible material things. Okay, now Jupiter Cancers is moving into your, so a lot of focus on practical material things for you in August, Cancers, in changing revalues, even starting new ventures in regards to financial opportunities, in regards to some material, something to improve your financial situation. Okay, let's see. Jupiter is moving into your third house, so I'll give you a peek into the next 12 months. There'll be a lot of focus for you. Cancers in third house matters. Wherever Jupiter is, there we have expansion, there we have growth, there we have opportunity to receive joy through the wisdom. So third house is new knowledge and new skills that you acquire. So over the next 12 months, maybe not immediately from August, but you'll start feeling the shift from the middle of August. But from August 2015 to September 2016, you have a chance to learn new skills, maybe a new language, and you'll feel inspired in that direction. Opportunities will come to you. Of course, you will have to make the effort. It won't be easy fully, but you will have now the push from Jupiter and the inspiration lifting you up inspiredly to learn maybe a new skill. I remember when Jupiter was in my third house, I learned, I started actually working with clients astrology for the first time, and because I've just learned a great technique to answer questions immediately, so I started my Third house is communication, talking, clients as well, exchanging information, giving information. So if you're in any kind of business or activity, or if you want to go in any business activity where you're giving or receiving information, where you're teaching, where you're reading, where you're interpreting things, where you are teaching skills or receiving, or you want to receive skills of some sort, Jupiter will give you the green light. If you're trying to get into some school, if you're trying to learn some, maybe operate a software, maybe how to do your own website. I mean, I was surprised by the end of Jupiter transiting my third house, how many new things I knew. Like, and they were usually technical. They're not so much spiritual new things, but they're like technical, new astrology techniques I had. I found my astrology teacher who taught me Vedic astrology during this period, and this is more like technical again. I found also, and your mind expands. You like become like this open, insatiable bucket for information and knowledge, and you can gather more and more and more. I've learned how to use YouTube. I've learned how to edit videos by the end of this process of 12 months. I've learned how to manage a business. I've attracted new associates, because third house rules people you work in a team with, associates, might be not necessarily business partners, but people that you engage with to do a project with, maybe your teammates, schoolmates, a small group of people that you can work together with, and you'll be more successful if you engage in a group with small people to get tasks done. Or if you look out for new associates, if you look out for new people to cooperate with, and to join your forces and skills together, you'll be more productive if you do this over the next 12 months, and you will. I gained a big following on YouTube then, and anyone who is involved in media, if you're Cancer, Ascendant, Sun or Moon, when Jupiter is in your third house, things in regards to media, marketing, communication, information, teaching, they start blossoming, they start happening. There is like new opportunities, new contacts. I gained a following when Jupiter was in my third house. From 0 on YouTube, they gained to 30,000 people. Like, you get people that are supporters of some way, or people that are, cooperatives, or, your network, because your third house is like kind of a bit of a network of contacts and people. And actually, this is when I started working with associates, astrology associates, and astrology, kind of working together in a team with them. Now I have psychics and astrologers at astrolada.com whom you can contact daily. So you kind of work in group, can be very productive over the next 12 months, learning new skills, learning how to do new things. You become way more adventurous. Third house is travel. You might be traveling way more than usual. Third house is relationship with sibling, neighbors, teammates, schoolmates. These can improve. There might be some crisis, because Saturn is also sending a difficult aspect to this Jupiter, but you'll be a bit up and down. But by the end of this process, you'd realize that you have improved a lot, the whole experience, the whole relationships with such people. Third house, siblings, neighbors, teammates, workmates, competitors as well. You kind of become more competitive, but in a more healthy way, because Jupiter is not about like Jupiter is more Zen and above it planet. There are a lot of other things that third house rules, but I can't remember right now. So yeah, I'll just mention those that I remembered. So thank you very much, Cancer. And so there's a lot of focus again in your second house, material resources. I talked about Venus, how it can change. And for the next 12 months, a lot of good things and opportunities starting to happen in your third house, which is also house very much connected to people that are in communications, in writing, speaking, in teaching, in any kind of business online as well. I did a website when Jupiter was in my third house. You see how many interesting things can happen to you, and actually you make those things. They don't happen to you, but you feel inspired to make them. And because third house is such a busy house, you can do so many things, particularly in business, if you're self-employed, particularly some certain skills that you need. This can be a very good time for business. Very maybe you won't immediately receive the recognition, but you can learn a lot of things that help in the long run after that. Thank you, and get the courage to get things done. Bye.